My name is David, and my salvation story starts at an early age when I was saved by God's redeeming grace. So I always like to refer to John 3:16 as a Bible verse that's very descriptive of the love of God in my life. But looking back, I can tell you I strayed from God in my teen years. But as God does, He always has a way of shepherding His flock. And God never strayed from me. I'm reminded of Deuteronomy 31:8 as I reflect back and look the way God has worked through my life. I reflect on my detour and my subsequent course correction when I think of this verse. It is the Lord who goes before you. He will be with you. He will not leave you or forsake you. I can reflect back also on my rebellion years as a teen, and I clearly see now that I was never in control. Thought I was, but never was. God was the entire time. God always provided for me. Did His provisions ever meet my ideas of the way things should go? No. God always did what was best for me. Not always easiest, but always the best. And I clearly and completely trust in God that He's continually doing that now. I can remember my grandmother listening to tape sermons and radio sermons when I was a young boy. Almost every time I went to visit her, she would always be sitting back on the back porch listening to her favorite sermons. I recall the love and selflessness that she displayed. So as I grew physically, I tried to grow away from God. Not knowing what God had in store for me, God led me to Kentucky. And God knew, and He had already made a home for me there, which I had no idea about. Young and naive when I moved. Did I know it at the time? Of course not. But God had already cut the path that my life would take. So is my story the love of John 3:16? Of course it is. Is my testimony the reassurances of Deuteronomy 31:8? Absolutely. God led me to find joy in a loving wife, children, and a church family. God provided for me the whole way to this point and will continue to provide for me because He is the love of John 3:16.